Hello everyone and welcome to a very nice game from the Women's World Team Championship. It will be a refreshing upgrade in quality after that game that I played in the previous video. It is 13-year-old FIDE Master Alice Lee versus Grandmaster Bella Khotenashvili, and it's United States versus Georgia. Now, Bella Khotenashvili was a world champion. In 2004 she won under 16 Women's World Championship. That was even before Alice Lee was born. So a very interesting matchup here. And even though Alice is currently a FIDE master, she plays board one ahead of other players that are even international masters and women grandmasters. So let's check out what happened in this game and why you guys requested it. So Alice has the white pieces and she opens with knight to f3. She goes for the Radić opening. We have d5 by Bella, d4, knight to f6, c4, and e6. So the queen's gambit declined. Knight to c3 and knight b to d7. So the barman variation, we have c captures on d5, e captures, and now most popular bishop to g5 and bishop to f4. But here we have the immediate queen to c2 by Alice Lee. Puts more pressure on e4 and sort of eyes that c7 pawn. Maybe there are some tricky lines where you could go after it. So c6 is the most common move here. But we have bishop to b4, just pinning the knight, and now bishop to g5. We have pawn to h6, and Bella accepts the challenge. She will advance the pawns in front of her king side, bishop to g3, and now knight e4 attacks the bishop and puts more pressure on the knight on c3. So knight to d2, we have knight captures and g3, h captures, and now knight to b6. And obviously we will see a queenside castle, so pawn to a3, bishop to e7, and now there is a game where pawn to e4 was played last year in a fairly strong tournament, and here we have queenside castles, which is the top move recommended by the engine, and it is now as of move 13 that we have a completely new game. So okay, bishop to e6, continuing development, and now the immediate pawn to e4, not going for king to b1 as one might expect, but rather pawn to e4. And the reason why king to b1 wasn't necessary is because Bella cannot just play pawn to c5 here. It seems like an automatic. The queen is on c2, the king is on c1, so of course you want to play c5. But here it would be very bad. The problem is after d captures and bishop captures, you will play e captures on d5, and after bishop captures, knight captures, let's say, and queen captures, there's this very nasty knight to e4 move. And now your queen is hanging, your bishop is hanging, knight to f6 check is being threatened. You just don't have time to do anything here with black, and you're just gonna lose a piece here. So there's no way to actually avoid that. So instead, after e4, we have c6 and now pawn to e5. Okay, grabbing more space here. Queen to d7, preparing to castle queenside, and bishop to d3 now. Also, by playing queen to d7, she had ideas of maybe bishop to f5, so bishop to d3 makes sense. Castles queenside, and now pawn to f4. Now, of course, you want to get that pawn to f5 move in, so g captures, and bishop to g4, not allowing the bishop to be trapped and moving it with tempo. So rook d to e1 and king to b8. Of course, you do not want your king and queen on the same light diagonal with the white queen and bishop, having some nasty ideas for the future. And now knight to b3. Again, not worried about king to b1. She just goes knight to b3. Now is ready to put pressure on the c5 square. And also you're just waiting to play f5, f6. So here we have pawn to h5, knight to d1 now. Going for knight to e3. And here you should stop it with knight to c4, as it's a very nice square, and of course you're never expecting bishop captures on c4 because that's just weird. You give up one pawn, but then black's position completely recovers. What you will want to do is just go knight e3, you trade here, let's say captures, and then rook c8, you prepare pawn to c5, and so on. However, here bishop captures on d1 was played, queen captures on d1, now putting pressure on the h5 pawn, so pawn to h4, and now pawn to f5. And now, okay, where is this bishop going? Do you want to throw in a bishop to g5 check? Do you want to keep the bishop there to guard the c5 square? Rook d to g8 was played in the game, now preparing to capture on g2, but also maybe rook to g3 in some ideas, and queen to f3. And here Although rook to g3 does seem like an idea, it would be a terrible blunder, because if you play rook to g3 here, Alice could just capture it. Queen captures, and after pawn captures, rook captures, black is just dead lost here. After king to c7, you can play f6. You attack the bishop, only square for the bishop is the d8 square. Now knight to c5, attacks the queen, and once the queen moves somewhere, doesn't really matter where, now you just break through e6, and after, you can even win a pawn with check. Let's say queen captures on f6, e captures on f7, and that's it. If you capture the rook, then just rook to d8 will support the promotion of the f-pawn, and if you capture the pawn, then just knight e6 check, blunders the bishop. Doesn't blunder the bishop, but you have to give up something. Let's say you go here, now knight captures, attacks the queen, and that's pretty much it. Let's say queen g7, you attack the queen, and now you resign because you either give up the queen or rook to e6 will be checkmate. So after queen to f3, knight to a4 was played by Bella, and now comes pawn to f6. Okay, you attack the bishop, bishop to f8, and now bishop to f5, just winning more squares, more space. Queen to d8, and now rook to h3, stopping rook to g3 altogether. A6, and now king to b1. Before starting the attack, we have c5, d captures on c5, knight captures, we have knight captures, and bishop captures. And now, okay, Bella finally played c5, she opened up the position, she has the passed d pawn, but now other problems reveal themselves. Rook to c1 comes with tempo, and you can't really move the bishop because rook to c8 check would win the queen, and you would very happily give up the rook and the bishop for the queen. So you have to defend with queen to b6, but now you lose the d pawn. So queen captures on d5. Now again with pressure on the bishop, bishop e3 attacks the rook here, and now just rook to c3, again threatening to win the bishop, so you don't have time to do anything about the f7 pawn hanging. Rook to d8 attacks the queen, queen captures on f7, and now bishop to d4, but it's not a problem. Queen b3, rook b3 defended by the queen here, and you have to defend against checkmate on b7. So here queen to c6, and now rook to b4. And what do you play here? Well, it really doesn't matter. There's no move that saves you here. Rook h to f8 was played, but this only allows for an elegant finish, and that is rook captures on d4. Giving up the queen, rook captures on f7, and rook captures on d8 with check. We have king to a7, and now pawn to e6. There's no way to stop all the pawns. If you capture on f6, then just pawn to e7. You cannot stop promotion. You have to capture here, and then after e8 queen, you are just down a full rook. There's no way, of course, you can play this. So after e6, queen to c7, you have to somehow figure out a way on how to prevent the pawns from queening. E captures on f7, queen captures the rook on d8, and now bishop to c2. It's now merely a matter of keeping one of the pawns alive and then waiting for the rook to come, of course, at e8 to allow the promotion of the f-pawn. So bishop to c2, we have queen to f8. You cannot capture. If you capture, then just rook f3 attacks the queen. Next move, you queen. So after bishop to c2, queen to f8 was played, now bishop to b3. The pawn is now nicely defended, and there's really nothing you can do here. Queen to d6 was played, but now king a2, not allowing for any tricky checks, and pawn to a5. You know that now there's no stopping the rook, so you might as well try some tricky moves here. Rook to d3, even offering a rook for the promotion of the f-pawn. Queen back to f8, and now pawn to a4, stopping pawn to a4 by Bella. So pawn to b5, this is now or never. Rook to d7 check, king to b6, and now rook to e7. Now there's no defense against rook e8. B captures on a4 was played, but even a nice calm bishop to e6 before finishing the game. h3, g captures on h3, queen to h6, and now rook to e8. The f-pawn is coming, pawn to a3, and now just f8 queen, and he was in this position on move 51 that Bella Khotenashvili resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. The problem is, of course, you are getting checkmated, and even if you do something like this, you threaten checkmate, it's still very easy. Just rook b8 check, king a7, now even checkmate is being defended, and you can take your time to just checkmate the black king. There's nothing you can do here. Queen b7 will be mate. Let's say if queen g2 defending, then just queen c7 check, king a6, and bishop to c4 will end the game. I know how you guys like it when I finish the game, so this is one way to finish the game. But yeah, she of course did not wait for this. After the promotion of the f-pawn, she resigned the game here. So a brilliant game by FIDE master, a 13-year-old FIDE master Alice Lee against a very, very strong grandmaster Bella Khotenashvili. And even though Alice defeated Bella on board 1, her team still lost the match. So, you know, tough for the team, but great stuff for young Alice. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for recommending such a very nice game. I really enjoyed it myself. I would like to thank Bon Bon Sol and Baby Boo, GersnyChessFestival.org.gg, Amanda Oliver, the most beautiful girl in the world, Duncan Weinkohl, and Egbert Jan Schierhorn for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of, all the events that are currently happening and checking up on your wonderful suggestions as usual. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.